Wouldn't it be nice to only invest in turnkey properties? But where are they? And how is everyone finding them right now, especially with rates going up? By the end of this video, you'll know what to do to find ready-to-go properties to spend your money on right now. Okay, so first and foremost, this might be a given, but you really should find a good turnkey company, okay? Now, if you don't even know what turnkey investment is, I imagine you'd probably do if you look this up, but if you don't know what turnkey real estate is, turnkey is the easiest form of real estate investing in my opinion. Because the challenges with real estate that I get from people all the time is saying, well, I don't know if I have enough money, or I don't know if there's any good deals near me, or I don't know if I can even be a good property manager. In fact, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't have to clean out toilets and deal with tenants and trash and everything else. Exactly, me neither, okay? I'm a horrible landlord. I do a crappy job at that, but when I've found good turnkey companies, I know inside of our network, we've got about 5 of them that we can choose from depending on the timing and what looks best. Well, between those turnkey companies, they'll actually, one, help you find the properties. And by the way, here's a secret. Most of the time, they're not in your backyard. Most of the time, the best real estate properties, depending on the timing, is never anywhere near you. It's not even in your same state. In fact, if you're on the western half of the United States, you're probably thinking, this stuff sucks out here. It does. We look at the eastern part, we look at the southeast or the Midwest, where there's better returns right now, at least in 2023 there are. And so we find these good turnkeys that we can buy from a turnkey company. They help you find them. So they kind of create this selection, almost like a buffet, and say, here's the properties we have. And even better, they actually have real numbers on them. So they're actually showing you these numbers saying, here's what we're projecting that it'll rent for based off of your mortgage payments and interest rates and everything else, and taxes and insurance and paying the property manager. That's the cool thing. You don't have to manage the property at all. So they set up the properties, they help you find them, they help you get the financing with a good bank if you need to get financing. And then 3, they property manage it for you or help you find the property manager to take care of these properties for you. So what does that mean? You get mailbox money. You get the money coming to you because, hey, if you don't have to do all the work, might as well let somebody else do the work and then you get the profits, right? That is what a good turnkey company does for you. How do you know if they're good? You can look at reviews, of course, but it's tricky. You really want somebody that's been vetted. Often, I mean, we know a lot of those turnkey companies, of course, and we have a lot of good connections that way. But really, a good turnkey company is very transparent, right? They've had a lot of experience in this space. They haven't just been around for a few years. They've been in the market for a long time. They know their markets that they're in. They're very focused. And even more importantly, you really want to make sure they have a good property management system. I'll tell you that just finding a good turnkey property is one thing, but being able to have somebody to manage it and actually help you have profits from it, that's very important. Also, here's another thing you want to look for. You want to look for turnkey companies that actually fix and renovate the property for you. You want those properties rent ready, as they say. You want them ready to go. You want them putting tenants in by the time you close on that property, or at least within a very short period of time. So understanding their system, understanding what are they doing with this? Are they actually putting this in good condition, or do I have to wait several months before they get it fixed up and wait for the contractors to do all their work and then I can finally get paid on it? It can be a little bit tricky there, so be careful. Also look out for exorbitant fees, right? Look out for additional fees they might be trying to charge you on top of the things that they're doing. Look out for extra fees they might charge on property management side. Again, this is all about asking the right questions, really knowing what they're doing. Ultimately though, you want to have somebody that has good experience in their market. They know their market, they have good supply, they can help you match up with a good company. Now even if somebody's a good company, right now they may not be great. And that's what comes down to my third point here is really understanding what are called pro formas. Pro formas are really like looking into the future. It's that projection of how much money you'll make year to year to year. Often they'll put in little things like rent increases, which is nice. That's one thing nice about turnkey companies, that they do increase rents as time goes on. So things do improve on their numbers year after year typically. But you want to understand what you're looking at. The kind of key numbers I like to look at are really like the cash on cash returns. That's a big one. Cap rate is also another one too. Cash on cash returns means this. Cash on cash says that for every, say, $100,000 you're paying, what do you get in actual profit, right? So if you have a 10% cash on cash return, it requires a $100,000 down payment. That means you should be getting a $10,000 profit that year. That's a 10% cash on cash return. Ultimately, it's how much money am I actually getting out of this? Cash on cash does not include, if you have a mortgage on it, doesn't include that the renters are paying down your mortgage and you're building equity that way naturally. Doesn't include any tax benefits, doesn't include any appreciation. It's just purely what's the cash flow, the profit coming in month after month. That's a very important number to look at. There's also cap rate. Cap rate is the cash flow if you buy it all in cash. Now, this one may or may not be as important unless you're debating about whether to get financing or to buy it out and right in cash. So you can kind of see the numbers and see how they compare. I've actually seen some of our turnkey companies in our network where I'd say, you know what? You may want to buy that all out in cash. The financing may not be worth it because it takes too much cash flow away. You'll get a better return if you just don't get a mortgage. It just depends, case by case. In most cases though, and in most markets, it's better to get a mortgage. You'll usually get a higher return if you do that, but in some cases, not the case. So pro formas, you want to be able to understand them, understand where they're getting their numbers from. And also, you want to make sure that interest rates look right for mortgages. That's another one too. Sometimes a company might put in the wrong number. They might put an interest rate that was true maybe months ago, but maybe interest rates have come back up. It's not as good. Vice versa. I've actually seen people ignore properties, but then see that they put too high of an interest rate on the mortgage rate. And then when you put a more realistic one in, all of a sudden the returns go up. You get a great property that nobody knew about. So look at those things like mortgage rates. Look at aspects of what are they doing? Are they actually having you put X amount of dollars down? Are there any seller credits? Are there anything that's coming back to you where they help you buy down the interest rate? Those are all kind of cool bonuses to get, but they do help you determine whether or not you want that property. You also want to look at the age of the property. Is it a much older property where you might have some issues? Or has it been built since, say, the 1980s or the 1990s, which are a newer property? Is it new construction? By the way, new construction usually has a lesser return, but usually, and I say usually there aren't too many maintenance issues with those kind of properties. So usually maintenance is not a worry. It's just having a renter in there and that they stay in there for a long time. Now, one piece of advice I would give you is don't just buy one turnkey property. One of the mistakes that many people make is they buy one just to get their feet wet. But the problem is this. Say that one goes well. Say that nothing ever bad happens. You start to expect that every property is like that. And so if you have a property that maybe has some issues, maybe a tenant moves out, maybe a tenant stops paying, and even though the property manager deals with all that drama, you want to make sure you're getting paid, right? Well, what if you don't get paid? It's good to have 2 or 3 just so you can see the full spectrum of experiences that can happen. Because someone buys their first one and only one, and it's a bad experience, they think that all properties are bad. Just the opposite of if you buy one that's always good, you think it's always good. 2 or 3 will help, 1, stabilize the cash flow that you're getting from those properties, and then 2, it helps you get realistic expectations. But really when it comes down to it, at least when I'm picking a good turnkey company, and really just picking a good turnkey, is that cash flow is everything, right? I really want to look at a good, honest, cash on cash return. Now we could look at it as a long-term investment, of course. I have seen some turnkeys that are barely breaking even. Maybe you get a 1%, maybe a 3% cash on cash return. So you're just barely above, but that's kind of risky. You never know if things can go wrong, if there's maintenance issues, or like I said, if there's vacancies where the tenants move out, now you're really scrambling to get money because you don't have a lot of cash reserves in there. So although long-term, even if you have one that's not making a lot of cash and cash return, yes, you could end up making more than even the stock market. I still think you should try to focus on cash flow. I like to see cash and cash returns of at least 6, 7, 8% minimum if I'm gonna buy a property. Ideally, I like it to be double digits. I'd like 10% plus. But again, it just depends on markets. You never know what's going on. That's the key thing I look for, is that cash flow is everything. Profit is everything. Like any business, you want profit. You don't want to have loss, you want profit. Focus on that. So to recap really quickly, if you want to find a good turnkey company, it helps to get good referrals. Good reviews, of course, are great. But how do you know if they're a good turnkey company? They're honest, they're transparent, they give you the numbers, they give you those pro formas. They do encourage you to buy at least 2 or 3 properties. And again, you want to focus on cash flow, because even if they're a great company, you still want to make sure that cash flow gives you more profit. That is the key to having a good turnkey real estate experience for you guys. All right, guys, if you thought this video was great, check out this next one, how to make $5,000 a month in passive income right now.